Bro, when you go to jiu-jitsu, who gives you the toughest rounds, man?
Toughest rounds are probably going to be, obviously he's bigger, but
Okay.
Nicky Rod, Nick Matea is really tough. There's not really an easy round, you know. If
I know.
we have 30 people in the room. We have really, really good people, and then we still have really good people.
How important is that in like an MMA setting?
I think scrambling is super important because it's like if you're fighting a guy, I need to be able to Granby or switch or do anything I can to stand up. So it's like constantly forcing these scrambles where I'm gonna have the advantage or kind of have these scrambles kind of speed up rather than being like, all right, Khabib took me down. Now I have to fight his hands and move his head and then try to clear and turn and get up. It's like that's gonna be a lot harder than as soon as he goes to take me down, I'm already trying to create a scramble, create kind of movement. You know, we're constantly like we're training hard a lot where we're doing these things on live. Sometimes for me, it's like I'm not really even necessarily, I'd say, focusing on something. Let's say like it's more focusing on a position.
What's the difference between, since co-main and main with Andrew and William, what's the difference between those two brothers? All right, man. When I was talking to Andrew Tackett last time, you know what I noticed, man, between you guys? You guys are all pretty fucking successful at what you do. And you know what I pointed it out to him? Is the people that you hang out with.
Yeah.
And then he went on this like long rant. It's like, dude, that's very important.
Right.
How important is that to you, man? I mean, because last time you were on this podcast, man, you train with just animals. How big of a deal is it that you get to train with those guys? You know, in jiu-jitsu, you're training with the Simple Man now, right?
Yeah.
And then with obviously Cody Steele's Syndicate, man. How
Yeah.
big of a deal and how aware are you? Is that like, you know, part of a big part of your success?
I think being able to surround yourself with people that are better than you or a little bit farther in sports super helpful because it's like constantly motivating. Like if you're in a room where you're the best person, or it's like it's not fun training in the room. You're not. I feel like it's hard to really keep leveling up. So it's like if I come here and I'm doing cage rounds with Rob, or back home I'm training with Ethan Carlinson and Damien and Nicky Rod. It's like I'm constantly getting better, and it's always something to look forward to train. It's like if I wake up, I'm headed to train. It's like, all right, today I'm gonna get to train with these guys and try to get better. And regardless if you're winning or losing in the gym, it's like you're still trying to get better and something to look forward to. Like, oh, I almost did this takedown, I almost did this sweep, or now I'm coming out here and I'm training with Rob, but I was able to stop one takedown or able to stand up. Like it just kind of these little levels each time.
What's going on, guys? If you're enjoying this podcast, please don't forget to like the videos and subscribe to the channel. Only if you're getting value out of it on YouTube, and also on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Don't forget to leave a rating and follow. And also, I also write a blog newsletter from what I learned from my incredible guests that I have on. So sign up for the email list and get updates on the podcast. Thank you for your love and support. Now back to the show. Is it kind of is it like surreal that you get to train in an environment like that, or you just kind of homeostasis kicked in and it's your baseline? Is it like, all right, like I do this every day anyway? You know,
I think it's baseline now. Just 'cause I've been doing it for so long. Like even when you're younger and you like look at kind of like UFC guys or whatever, you like kind of envision kind of getting to train with those people. And when it happens, it kind of you just feel used to it now.
Yeah. How do you not get complacent, in your training when you go on a day-to-day grind?
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? It's like, do you ever get, and it's okay if you want to say this, but then do you ever get like, it's the same kind of repetitive stuff, or do you always have that fire? And if you don't, like a lot of humans do,
right?
What do you do to get that back, to get yourself excited, to kind of like relight that candle?
I think with like the room that I train in, there's always new people coming in, so you can always get different work, or there's so many guys in our room, we can train a lot. Or if I come out here, there's endless people to train with. But I do think getting complacent happens sometimes, especially like maybe you're injured or you train a little bit lighter, so you're not feeling like this constant kind of like improvement. For me, it's like just kind of getting back to like when I was training really good before, thinking about like what I was doing to feel that way. If I had a really good sparring session, then maybe I had a sparring session that wasn't as good. Thinking about what went good in that good sparring session, trying to get back to that. Or if I had like a bad jiu-jitsu session, think back to like, all right, what was I doing when I was training better? Or try into that mental state of like how I train well, or like you kind of have that clear mind, or you're just able to train and not really think about other things.
That's interesting. It's not like, it's almost like you're not solving the problem. You're like looking at what worked before, right? So I guess, which is kind of like solving the problem. You're looking at like the bright lights of things of what used to work.
For sure. Well, it's like we all have good days and bad days. It's like we talked about last time, like how you have however many days, you have like a couple of good days, a couple of mediocre days, a couple of bad days, and it's like you kind of have to balance those out. And then I think a part of training is just kind of figuring out how to maintain those good days more than the bad days.
Bro, when you go to jiu-jitsu, who gives you the toughest rounds, man? Let's out some people here. Back in Texas. Who's your toughest round? Who's the easiest rounds?
Toughest rounds are probably going to be, obviously he's bigger, but Nicky Rod.
Yep.
Nick Matea is really tough. I mean, honestly, our room is super loaded, so it's like there's not really an easy round. If
I know.
we have 30 people in the room, we have really really good people, and then we still have really good people. So it's like it's hard to get an easy round it back home.
Sure. Yeah, man. That's interesting. What about MMA, man? Like, who feels? I was joking on the first one, like about easy rounds, because
yeah.
Paradoxically, I'm sure there's no easy rounds, but then as far as like MMA. Who do you think you get the most benefit from as of your current circumstance? Like with your age, who gives you the best, not matchup, but the best, I guess, readiness for your next match?
So my teammate back home, Damian Anderson, he's
that's right,
4-0 pro right now. He's about to have his next fight in TFFC in February. He's gonna be a future bantamweight champion. He's still fairly young. But he's one of the best guys. And
how old is Damien?
29, 28 or 29.
Yep.
But Damien's super good. He was really, really good in jiu-jitsu, and then he started training with us about 3 years ago. But a lot of people may not know him in the MMA scene yet, but the guy is super good. Like, for me, he gives me my toughest rounds just because he's got a different style than most people, and he does a very good job about not getting hit. So it's hard to hit someone when they're thinking about more so defense than offense. So
what makes someone not getting hard to get hit, and how does that separate from your style? Compared to like your stand-up game.
Well, in stand-up, it's like if someone's willing to trade with you or they don't focus on defense as much, there's a greater chance for you to catch them. It's like, or if you do jiu-jitsu with somebody and maybe they don't play a cagey game, they're willing to scramble in the exchanges. It's like it's easier to have a chance to beat them compared to someone that's very cagey or on the feet that doesn't want to get hit, or they're constantly moving where you have to chase after them. You have to do a 3 or 4 stage setup to hit them compared to just throwing a jab cross on the middle or throwing a head kick that might land.
Would you consider that like, what do they have, like great footwork, or is it just head movement?
So Damien, he's a southpaw, so most of his fights are open stance, right? So he's fighting a lot of orthodox guys. He has really good distance, and his movement's really good. He's very fast. He does a very good job kind of always trying the border. So like if you want to go to hit him, you're usually going to be a couple inches away from hitting him, or he's out a little bit far enough so he can counter you. He's like probably one of the best guys I've ever trained with distance. It's like his distance is just very on point.
Yeah, I know we talked a little bit about this, but I think that's when your clips got a lot of hit. Even like on like TikTok, I started posting on TikTok.
Yeah,
and the ones where you were explaining about like your philosophy on like MMA.
Yeah,
it had a lot of. I guess you could say talk, right?
Oh, yeah.
Everyone wants to be an armchair quarterback.
For sure.
Want to see what is now, since you're on your second pro fight, which is congratulations, by the way.
Thank you.
First round TKO. What is your philosophy now? What changed from last time that we talked? Is there anything that changed from your first fight to your second fight? How you do things, like let's just stick with like striking, or let's just stick with how you look at MMA as a whole now, since you've learned a lot more and have a lot more experience.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, coming back here from Rob's side with Corey Sanhagen, I did a lot of rounds with him for that, and just getting a feel for that. What honestly made me feel comfortable was just every time I went to go spar with him, it felt, obviously it wasn't a real fight, but like mentally you're preparing for it to be a fight. It's like I'm doing 3 rounds with him. So I actually feel like that helped me a lot leading up into my last fight, where it's just like, whatever happens, I'm ready for it. And that's why I feel like even though I did get dropped, I mentally before the fight, I was already ready for whatever happens. I was going to come away with the win, or I was just ready to push through it. So it wasn't like I was caught off guard by anything.
Right.
I think mentally, I think that's a huge part of fighting, is just guys can be really good, but it also depends on how you are on fight day and how you are mentally. Because I've trained with people who aren't world champions and don't even have a ton of fights, and they're super, super good. And I've trained with guys who are in the UFC or have a good record in other sports or other martial arts, and to me they weren't as good as other people, or training with guys that are super close to the title, and guys below that who I felt like were better than them, so I think it's really about who can perform on fight day more so. Like the biggest skill you can have is almost performing on fight day compared to anything, because that's really what matters. Like obviously you have to be able to train well in the gym, because you're not gonna do different things in the gym then come into a fight and be a completely different fighter.
You are what you train, right?
But at the same time, it's like it's a skill to be able to fight on fight day. You know,
How do you build that skill, man? If you
from
it's like
fighting, yeah,
yeah, I mean, say if you only have like yourself, right?
yeah,
You seem to manage yourself well. We were just talking about this before the podcast that you got dropped on the first round and then
yeah,
you were able to be composed.
right.
How do you even gain that skill when you only have 2 pro fights under, the bright lights?
Yeah, I do think it's like obviously fighting in the cage is different than training, right? Just like what I was talking about.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like, all right, me going to spar with Marab, or I'm training with Andre Feely, or I'm training with
Mhm.
Cody. If I'm training with Song Yudong, like, I've trained with a lot of high level MMA guys, or even just training with pretty good regional guys who can still give you tough rounds. Like, you still push those tough rounds and feel comfortable there. Or you deal with adversity from maybe a hard training session or being tired and pushing through. It's like you can gain a lot of those skills from training as well. Obviously, competition is always going to be more beneficial because that's the real part
That's
of
real,
fighting.
yeah.
So
Mhm.
I think you need both. You need to be pushing training hard enough. You can say you can make it harder than a fight, but it's always different when you're getting hit. Full power
Yeah.
with 4 ounce gloves.
Yeah. Quick pause, guys. As you guys know, I have high-level fighters and martial artists on this podcast all the time. From your top-level pros to your everyday practitioners and hobbyists. Whether you train every day or just love the fight culture, this brand hits the same mindset just like this podcast. Just Fight Gear is built for real training, for durability, its toughness, and for real hard rounds. Personally, I wear it almost every day, no joke. I like it because of its durability during when you're rolling in jiu-jitsu or whether you're sparring in MMA or Muay Thai. Your favorite UFC fighter is already rocking it, like former champion Zhang Wei Li, world-class coach John Wood, UFC fighters like Nazim Sadikov, Chepe Mariscal, Jacqueline Cavalcanti, and Vince Morales, just to name a few. These threads move fast, so act now, and at checkout, type in the code SpeakeAsy15 to get a 15% discount. I'll click the links down below, so order yours today. We are Just Fight Co. And what's is it just getting used to getting hit? Like, so when we'll talk about that again, when, he caught you since, what was he, Southpaw, right?
Yeah.
I asked you this, but, tell the audience, like, so that they know how it feels for the guys that don't fight. Were you like, oh shit? Or were you like, okay, well, I mean, this happened in the practice room before. Is
Yeah.
it due to the experience why you were so calm? Or were you going in there thinking like, all right, don't freak out if anything happens?
Yeah.
And how do you even prepare for something like that?
I think mentally it was just like before the fight, I was like, all right, whatever happens, it's a fight. I'm gonna be able to come back and win. And it was just whatever. It didn't matter what happened, I was gonna win. So
Yeah.
mentally, it was like he could drop me 3 times, he could drop me twice, he could almost submit me. It's like I'm not gonna. Nothing was gonna change my mindset in there. So and also it's a fight. It's like everything's going so fast. It's like even when I finish the guy, it's like it happens like this. It's like you blink and it's kind of
Yeah.
over. So you can't really waste your time in there because like I was caught sleeping in the beginning where I thought I was fine, and then I get caught with something. So that kind of alerted my brain like, all right, you have to be ready at all times in a fight.
Right.
you know?
Right. That's
Um,
true.
and
So
also-
in a way, like getting dropped worked out for you.
yeah,
Right?
it kind of
Like
woke me up in a way,
counterintuitively.
So
Yeah.
but I think something to think about is just like it's a fight, anything can happen, and it's just like if a training session happens and you get subbed, it's like the day isn't over. It's like you can come back.
Right.
If you're sparring MMA and you get hit with a clean shot, it's like the round's not over. It's like you can come back from that. If you get hit and you get dropped, but you're still up, you're still awake, you're still in there. It's like all right, I'm still fighting. It doesn't matter. I can still come back as long as there's time on the clock. I can come back.
Mhm. Dude, so let's talk about when you did like knock him out. I mean, what did you see there? Was there a little bit of hesitation? Like, was there like a pause? You were like, wait, this guy has his hands down. What did you find? Like, how did you find that opening to be able to knock him out?
So he was southpaw, but when he switched stances occasionally. So when he switched stances, that's when I attacked him. So he went from southpaw to orthodox. So as soon as he switched, I attacked him. And then just because usually when you switch stances, their defense isn't as good, and he seemed a little bit more flat-footed and his hands were just a little bit lower. So I tried to attack him off that. But when it happened, I was just like, I felt like everything was just kind of forward, like there wasn't a time to think because it happened real quick. Like the sequence is probably like 7 or 8 seconds long, but it just felt like a blink,
Mm-hmm. So I had Chris Brennan on this podcast like last week, right?
Yeah.
Let me know what you think about this. since you talked about southpaw, and that's interesting that you said that being like ambidextrous like that is that you're more flat-footed when you're southpaw. Obviously, it's not your dominant side.
Yeah.
Do you believe in working both even sides? Because Coach Brennan was saying that I don't know, and he was referring to jiu-jitsu. He was like, "Man, I only try to master one side. Like I focus on one side."
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and when it comes to stand-up, are you working both sides equally? Obviously, your more dominant side is going to
Yeah.
be more crisp, but what's your methodology on that? Like, how often are you working on the other stance
Yeah.
that you're uncomfortable with?
So the way my coach has it, Coach Ellen was from Austin. He runs all of our striking practices. Well, we don't really just switch for no reason. You know, we call it like switching with purpose. So we work a lot on switch hitting. So it's like if we're switching, it's like we're switching into an attack. So maybe I strike from orthodox, I shift into my other stance and I attack, or maybe I switch striking from other stance, but I'm always trying to end back in my other stance. So maybe that's like I go orthodox to southpaw, strike in southpaw, finish back in orthodox, right? Or maybe I go orthodox, maybe I do something where I'm going backwards into southpaw, attack from there, then go back forward into orthodox. So it's like we're very rarely ever just switching for no reason. Like I'm never just here, or I'm gonna switch my stance,
And then
then
just
wait,
switch.
and then wait and see what happens. Because
Yeah.
the truth is like even myself is like I used to play around switching a little bit, but my defense isn't good. My left cross isn't as good. I have a pretty hard left hook, but my left cross isn't as good. It's like my attacks aren't as good. My defense isn't as good. So it's like, what's the point of attacking? There is a ton of benefit, I think, to switch hitting. Like we go over it a lot with a lot of our guys. Like a lot of us, our guys are really good at hitting from both stances, but we're only there for 2 or 3 seconds and then back to the dominant stance.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, because I didn't even know like the framework to that. It's like, should you switch stances because you got kicked in the leg too much, right?
Yeah.
And then switch your back foot, or I mean, I guess you just gave me an answer to that. So if you're switching stances, it's with a purpose that you're purposely gonna attack, or purposely gonna do something with defense.
Well, switching to attack, basically.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
that's the only reason we're trying to switch. I mean, switching for defense is just gonna be a little bit harder. We can switch to create distance. Like, let's say I'm standing in front of a guy,
Yeah.
he presses into me, I can switch my stance going
Back
backwards
foot, yep.
to gain distance. But that's really it.
Right.
My coaches call it, anytime we're switching with intention, switching with purpose. Just because, like, I'm not gonna be in front of somebody in range where they can crack me, and I'm gonna switch my stance just because it looks cooler, to make it flashy.
Yeah. Man, Jackson, I wanted to talk to you again because this is quite known in, the world that you're in in mixed martial arts, is that you're just a badass striker. And obviously I want to learn for myself. So this is kind of a continuation to what we were talking about, but how much do you focus on like positioning? Since we're talking about stances, right? There's distance, and I think we're getting into like the higher levels of things that, most beginners and even intermediates don't really even think about.
Right.
What are you looking for when it comes to position? Like where your foot's at, how you want to be in the ring, your control around the ring. Take me through like a step by step of like where you'd ideally like to be, where you would want to bait your opponent to be.
So my coach really, one of the biggest things we focus on is position. So after the fight, we went to go eat or whatever, and it was just like, we have to be like the best at position, because position and distance, because my fight I won or whatever, but I didn't get caught because of my position. It's like I went to throw a hook in open stance, but my foot was on the inside, so I was a little bit closer to his left hand, and his strike beat my strike. So position, kind of like the thing in theory is kind of like what am I doing? Kind of where we are in the cage or ring, and then kind of where we are to our opponent, right? So it's like, for me, it's like, all right, what is my stance? What's my guard, right? So maybe it's I have a high guard, I have an open guard. Maybe I'm a little farther out. I can play with like loose hands, whatever. My orthodox southpaw. If do I have a close stance, wide stance, kind of where's my body at, And then it's kind of where we are to our opponent. So it's like, what is our distance? How far are we? What am I on an angle? Am I in front of my opponent? Kind of where we are from there. Are we connected? Unconnected? Because that changes things as well. It's like obviously if we have a hand on somebody, like more of a clinch, we're not going to be able to do this same amount of strikes. And then obviously we want to look at kind of where we are in the cage. It's like, are we both in the center? Am I winning position where we have our opponent closer to the fence? Is he past the black line? So anytime you select those black lines in the octagon, we call it like a red zone.
Right.
So anytime, somebody look for, even when we're watching film, was like one of our teammates back home, he fought this guy, and literally he would only strike when his opponents were in red zone, So we're like, all right, so if we avoid red, basically this guy won't be able to do anything to you. And he avoided him, took him down, and subbed the guy. So it was like cool to see like the guy didn't land a single strike because of those things we took away from him, you know? So
Oh, interesting. Wait, say that again. So if he was in the red zone, when the guy was in the red zone, he didn't throw any strikes.
like it was just a lot of probe shoot, like, you know,
Yeah,
a
right.
jab, a lead kick, but no damaging strikes, nothing to kill, right? So there's no kill shots in there. It's all just like these border kind of like peppery strikes. And then basically we took that away from the guy. He was circling along the fence. Our guy did a really good job of keeping him in red, and then he ended up taking him down in red, you know?
Oh,
Or even
I
if you watch guys like the higher level guys are pretty good at this, but some guys will only shoot when their opponent's in red. Or you'll see more like damaging strikes when their opponent's in red. So it's
Right.
like we try to avoid the situations where if we get to red, which it might happen, we're trying to get out of there as fast as we can and get back to center.
yeah. That's damn, dude. That's so positioning for you and your coach is like the main priority,
Exactly.
pretty much.
It's we do it every day. You know, it's like it's
Yeah.
like it's built into our practice every day.
Damn. So are you still trying to with MMA? Are you like let me take them anywhere, let me just fight them anywhere kind of deal, or are you still obviously doing what you do and trying to stand them up and strike with them?
Yeah.
Is that where ideally you're trying to get them at, or are you like fuck it, man? If my jiu-jitsu's good enough or
Yeah.
my wrestling's good enough.
I mean, honestly, it's like I train jiu-jitsu every day. Like I feel like I train with the best guys in the world. You know, it's like I ask them a question about anything, they give me answers, and we have the best people to train with. For me, I feel comfortable anywhere. It's like if someone wants to strike, if someone wants to grapple, I feel good anywhere. If someone wants to try to take me down, I feel good mixing it up anywhere with people because it's like I feel like I've been around a lot of different situations with people, and I've had so much mat time in those situations where it's like if someone wants to try to take me down, I'm comfortable. If they want to try to take my back, I'm comfortable. If they want to strike, I'm comfortable. If they want to switch chances, it's just wherever the fight goes, I feel fairly comfortable in.
Yeah, you're trying to be like or already are and still progressing on being just the overall complete fighter.
Yeah.
Yeah. So in particular, man, to get specific, and we haven't talked since those rounds, Marab gave you a lot of compliments, especially on his press conference. What specifically did you gain from him the most? I know people are like, well, I trained with the champ, he got me better. And then, they talk about his endurance. And then what is like some other things since you got a front row seat? I mean, you sparred the guy and he said that, he gave you you gave him the toughest rounds.
Right.
That's coming from a press conference. Like,
Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
it's like, what did you learn and what did you take from that progressed your game? Like
I-
specifically.
Yeah. So I think honestly the biggest thing is you watch a lot of fights. If it goes to decision, I mean knockouts can always happen, but a lot of times the fight goes to decision, and the winner is who was able to kind of lead the fight, who's able to lead the dance into their game. You know, it's like if you train jiu-jitsu somebody, if you play into someone's game and they have a really good half guard, if you keep going to their half guard, they're probably gonna sweep you there. You know, if they're really good at chest passing, it's like if you let them get chest, they're probably gonna beat you there because you're going into their game. So fighting is a little bit different on the feet because it's so much faster than jiu-jitsu. You know, like jiu-jitsu, there's connections. So it's usually a little bit slower. It's like, all right, we might be in a position for a little while, then we move here. But it's like fighting positions changing every step, basically position changes. You know, so with Marab, it's like I have to not let him play his game. You know, where he's kind of throwing a lot of crazy stuff at me, all these smoke and mirrors to try to take me down and try to gas you out. You know, because honestly, when I go with him, I don't feel like he's like there's times where he's able to hold me down, like multiple times he's held me down. But it's not even he's trying to hold me down, he's just trying to gas me. So when we're on the feet, my striking is kind of nullified. Or if he's trying to take me down, I can't really put him in submissions like I am when I'm a little more fresh. So I think with anybody you go with, it's like you have to play your fight, you have to play your style because everyone's trying to play their style. Everyone has their go-tos, their thing that they're good at. So it's like I want to try to keep them away from there where they feel comfortable because everyone wants to feel comfortable, right? So it's like
Of course.
if you're doing jiu-jitsu, I want to play in these positions, or if I'm striking, I want to play from these ranges, or I want to play with these strikes, you know? But I try to take it away from people.
And so in particular, when you say like he throws a lot of smokes and a lot of feints and all that, what particularly were you trying to take away from Marab? You know, that everyone else tries to.
Like
so, what were you doing particular?
Since he was fighting Corey Sanhagen, I was trying to do a lot of movement, a lot of stance switching.
Before you go into it, did they get you into that because you kind of have like a Corey Sanhagen-ish kind of style? Like, did you fit the bill for that?
I think it was kind of the build, and then I play long arms, and I kind of move in and out a lot. I feel like, and I can scramble pretty well. I mean, obviously Corey has really good jiu-jitsu too. So like with and Corey's past fights, he's played in a couple leg entries before in his fights, and I kind of do that as well. And I mean, Corey's a great fighter. The guy's one of the best in the world. I think overall, it's just I fit into that, and maybe there wasn't a ton of taller guys who could move like me in there, so I feel like I was a perfect fighter for him to spar.
Yeah, man. So what what's gonna happen here from now, man? I know there's scouts there looking out. Like, what are you looking for now? Are you obviously you're gonna keep taking fights? Because okay, so to go back to Coach Chris Brennan, with his son Lucas,
Yeah.
they were waiting for a call at UFC, which unfortunately I didn't think happened because no one like kind of pulled out or whatever. But where are you at in that stage? Obviously, you're trying to get to the main stage as
Right.
well. Did you hear from anyone? I mean, you don't have to talk about it if you can't, but
Yeah, yeah.
did you hear anything that like, hey man, you might get the call soon, or do you need a few more fights? Where do you think you're at
I, I
at this level of the game?
I think a few more fights for sure.
Yeah.
Just because it's like I want to feel comfortable when I'm in there. It's like when I get to the UFC, it's just I want to be able to say like, all right, if I fight anybody, I'm comfortable. And I can get my way to the top pretty quick. I don't want to get there and be like, all right, I don't want to fight this guy or this guy's too far ahead or whatever. It's like
Right.
I get there, I'm just ready to fight anybody. And kind of like we talked about a little bit at my gym is like look at guys like Joshua Vaughn, like he just won the belt last weekend. Diego Lopez, like these guys get into the UFC and they blow up within a year and a half, maybe 2 years. They go on these crazy 4 or 5 fight win streaks and they're already fighting for the belt or they're fighting at top contenders. It's like
Yeah.
Josh did a great job capitalizing off that. It's like he had 2 fights in a month, came back, and then now he fought for the title and he just got the title. I mean, obviously things happen in the fight, but it's like the guy still has the belt wrapped around his waist and he's a champ now, which is awesome to see.
Yeah, and no one could take that away from you, regardless of what you think
Yeah.
about it. And quite frankly, he deserved that title shot.
For sure.
It's not like, I mean, the rise is just insane to see, especially at that high level,
Yeah.
at those higher levels. So, what'd you think about the fights, man? Take me through your eyes of what you thought about it and what people could have done better. Well, which one was your favorite? Let's break it down a little bit.
Whole card or just like the main card?
Let's go with the main card.
Okay.
Yeah.
Man, I think the biggest fight was probably, or one of my favorite fights was Cejudo and Talbot. I think that fight was awesome.
Hold on. Let me guess. Because of Talbot, did you like the striking kind of like my?
I don't know if it's just because we were at my friend's birthday party and we were just all really hyped up because it was just like pretty loud. So we were all watching. It was just pretty hype.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It was just like the way Cejudo came out. He's like doing all these crazy feints. We were watching it. It just made us all kind of like laugh. And then he's getting cracked. And we didn't want to see Cejudo lose, but we also really liked Talbot. So it was just a really entertaining fight to watch.
Do you
Honestly,
like the way that Talbot is that? Because when you said Talbot, I was like, fuck. I think I know where this guy's going because you're rangy. Like when I think of you, and especially ever since you've been going to Syndicate, you've grown taller. Like
right.
Yeah, like a foot or something like that. But do you like Talbot's like fighting style? Could you relate to that? Like, is it?
I like watching him. I think it's a little bit different than mine. I feel like he's just like he gets hit and he's just able to like literally like hit and go forward. It's like I've never seen him really get rocked at all. It's just crazy watching him get hit. He just bounces off shots and kind of comes forward. But it's really fun to watch him. I think he does a lot of really good stuff and his grappling looks really good. It's like he just took down an Olympic champion, I think 2 or 3 times and was able to scramble and get up. It was awesome to watch.
Right. So between you and Talbot, now I'm gonna make comparisons over here. What is your style compared to like Talbot's style? You just said that he kind of almost, I wouldn't say walk you down is probably like the wrong word, but he takes a shot.
Yeah.
Would you say you're more elusive than how Talbot fights?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd say like my game is like I can be very offensive, but I also can be like a counter striker as well. So it's like kind of drawing people out, making make mistakes, or I can be kind of aggressive. Where he's very good about he does walk people down.
Yeah.
But he's also very good about like setting these kind of like traps. So he'll be moving a lot, kind of like he'll kind of like touch a lot of like lighter strikes and then crack you with a real hard one. He's got a really good cross and he mixes in a lot of different strikes really really well.
Yeah. Again, before we move on, I was just before you got here, I was on your Instagram. Then I think it was Ethan and Nikki Rod talking about it, but they were like, or Damien, it was Damien, and they were saying that, man, it sucks because not sucks, but then he said if you go against Jackson right in a sparring match, and then all of a sudden you like say accidentally crack him,
Yeah.
and then you get this like it's like
It's a
kind
different
of
look.
this look,
Yeah,
different
yeah.
look, and then all of a sudden he pours it on you, and then Damien was like, "Fuck, man."
Yeah, yeah. It happens sometimes.
Yeah, it happens sometimes. And then I remember it's funny because you were just talking about like staying calm,
Yeah.
at UFC. Is it different now when how you do it, or do you still get that same like, oh, this motherfucker? You know what I mean?
Honestly, my fight, because Damien told me before my fight, he was just like, composure, 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 composure.
Yeah.
Because my last fight just wasn't as composed, so it was like that's kind of the
Your
big
first
thing.
one.
My first fight.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
That was kind of the main thing we're working on. So it was like, you'll kill the guy, just stay composed. That's really all I thought about. So it's like I almost was more composed in my fight than I was in training, to be honest. Just because
Yeah.
I was really thinking about it. Because in training, it's like you get cracked or you have a harder round. It's just like, all right, I'll just go. It's like
You have
doesn't-
nothing to lose.
yeah, it doesn't. Well, it's just like I'm just more confident in myself than the other person. But in my fight, I was just a little bit more composed. Where I was like, all right, I'll take my time. I'll take my time. And even the guy dropped me. I'm like, all right, it's fine. It doesn't really matter. I'm gonna come back and get this guy. But in training, if that would happen, it would be like a lot more reckless and just kind of wild. So I was happy in my fight. I was able to stay composed, and I mean, it was good. Damien kind of told me that. It's like, I know you know how to fight and do whatever. Just stay composed.
Look, I'm laughing because for a young guy like you,
Yeah.
it's so normal, right?
Right.
I'm like, yeah, I mean, fuck, like every guy does that.
Yeah.
But then to be in that big stage and to be able to be aware of that is like, pretty crazy to think about.
Right.
Especially when you go in the training room. I'm like, and I'm just picturing that and say if we sparred and then it's like accidentally crack you, I'm like, oh, fuck.
Yeah. Here it comes.
yeah, here it comes. So let's talk about that Peter Yan and Marab fight.
Yeah.
I want to know from your eyes what Peter Yan did really, really well in the stand up, right? They were talking about his jabs.
Yeah.
What did you think? And obviously we train with Marab and, he's just the ultimate champion when it comes to fighting. He never gives up. But Peter Yan, man, he deserves his flowers for sure.
Yeah.
In striking, what do you think he did really, really well that you could pinpoint out since, you're that guy to talk to about?
When he would switch stances, he did a really good job in open stance, just like kind of controlling Marab with the kicks. Obviously he hurt Marab to the body, but he was kicking his leg up pretty well, kicking his body, and then his left cross was there because he was kind of like controlling the outside of Marab's hand and had a good foot position. On the feet, it's like anytime Marab would shoot, it's like I felt like Marab would shoot, and if it didn't work, he did a really good job of like kind of punishing Marab for it, which is rare to see,
Yeah.
I mean, it's like I know Marab wasn't able to take down Jose Aldo a ton, but he still dominated that fight and controlled it. And Peters did a really good job of like, just stopping the takedowns, which I was super surprised. Like I knew Peter would probably be tough on the feet, but I didn't think he was gonna be able to stop that many takedowns. And I think maybe that could have been leading to the striking success as well. As like, I mean, obviously Marab's like one of the most confident guys, but it's still like very hard if like you had a fight with somebody, he dominated Peter the first fight, and the second fight it was like, all right, I wasn't able to take him down the same way. And like I know it's got to be a little bit kind of like harder on your confidence there. But he just did a really good job just mitigating strikes. Like even times he would let Marab kind of throw 3, 4, 5 strikes, and he would just kind of block, not really get hit, kind of let Marab go, and then he would pick up and land the more significant strikes.
Yeah.
I mean, Marab still did amazing. It's like
Absolutely.
it's just Peter's one of the best in the world. It's like even if you look at Peter's losses, like Marab's really the only guy to ever dominate him.
Right.
And other than that, it's like Peter's had 2 split decision losses, and then his other loss to Aljo is the DQ.
Yeah.
So.
I know we're kind of splitting hairs back and forth here, like, kind of going from the matches in here back, but then I'm getting all these like light bulb moments in defense in particular.
Yeah.
I guess for even the intermediate guys, how do you particularly work with your defense during coach? And what's the most important thing about defense when you're standing up? Like say, you were just talking about Peter Yan.
Yeah.
And I think and for the most part, I think when Marab had a hard time taking him down, or if he really did just try to, strike with them.
Yeah.
Peter Yan's defense was for what I saw was pretty outstanding.
Yeah.
So what's your kind of take on how to train defense? How do you get more confident on defense at your level as you see it?
I mean, obviously, there's different stages of defense. There's different ways to defend. Like Peter Yan's going to rely more on high guard. It's like he's kind of here just blocking. And you get a guy like MVP who's his defense is basically his feet. It's like guys try to hit him. He's using his feet to make people miss, and that's really his defense because he has a speed advantage on everybody. You
Hey,
know?
can I before you go on, can I ask you about that? So, like, okay, especially in like the beginner to intermediate stages, and obviously this isn't a comparison to
Yeah.
Michael Venom Page,
Right.
but then what do you suggest people do before I forget this thought that it's like, well, at that point, if you're doing like a MVP, they have it in their mind.
Right.
Aren't you just running at that point? Like in the beginning
For
stages,
sure. For
shouldn't
sure.
you have to like stay in the pocket and
Yeah.
like kind of take some hits or work on actually like windshield wiping or moving your head or something?
Yeah. I mean, it's obviously like different martial arts, right? It's like MVP came from
Yeah.
a different background. So it's like if you come from Muay Thai or kickboxing, it's like no one's. It's very rare a Muay Thai kickboxing guy learns that in their first six months. You know, it's like it's kind of in and
Yeah.
out, kind of like dancing movement.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying like different defenses. Like, all right, there's a high guard. There's
Mhm.
maybe I rely a lot more on catching shots with my hands or checking, or there's I'm using my feet to make people miss. For me personally, I like to have a mix of using my feet and then also using my hands to deflect. So it's like parries, blocking. Maybe I have a high guard. Maybe I have an open guard where I'm using my elbows to block, but also like I feel comfortable. I can use my feet to make people miss. You know.
Right. And how do you before we move on, how do you train that? Like how are you just doing drills? You know?
So basically, the way we train is we drill. Obviously, we drill stuff, but a lot of times it's just we have these focuses when we're sparring or when we're doing like these kind of specific sparring drills,
Mhm.
where focus on distance, not getting hit. So let's say I throw a punch out here and I throw this is my cross. Anytime I pull my cross back, it's like this is the recovery of the cross.
Yeah.
So or actually, if I do my lead hand, like a lot of times people throw a jab, right? And this happens where they're dropping their hand a lot, where it's like constantly dropping below.
Right.
So this is like our lead hand recovery. So like a lot of the guys that first joined our gym, it's like they would punch and then their hand would do this. It would punch and drop.
And then
punch,
drop. Yeah.
punch and drop, Or even if like an exchange happens, they're exiting and the lead hand kind of drops. So we'll do stuff where we really work on basically if you're engaging, you get hit back, I'm blocking my lead hand, or just do things where the focus is to not get hit on my lead side. So if a guy gets hit, we're watching him train. He's getting constantly hit on his lead side, hit on his chin, hit on his temple, whatever. It's like we'll add in a lot of focus where guys are trying to hit them on the sides to really reinforce that. So it's constantly I have to get this hand up, or I have to use my feet to make them miss.
Oh, interesting. Yeah. So you guys are watching really, really closely.
Yeah.
So hey man, so just like Andrew Tackett and William Tackett, when's the move, man? When's the move coming to Vegas?
Yeah.
I mean, you're already trained at Syndicate, man. This is, and obviously you're all in. Pretty much the hottest thing, one of the hottest prospects in MMA. What's the next move for you, man? What's going on?
I'll be staying in Austin for a while.
Yeah.
I really like Vegas, but I enjoy just coming out here and spending a week or two here. And
Mhm.
I have a lot of friends out here, but I love it back home, and I still have a good training setup there, and I'm happy with what I'm training with, and I have a great team, and I believe that we can take it to the top with where I'm at. I love cross training at Syndicate because I love everybody there, and the sparring partners are great. But I'm happy with what I'm doing right now.
Yeah, exactly. And from over there, you're coaching at Ambush, right?
Yes, sir.
At Ambush Muay Thai, and then Fight Factory.
I train at Simple Man and B Team mostly.
Okay.
Simple Man,
Yeah.
Simple Man. Yeah.
Right. So here's another question, man. When you're training MMA, I'm not sure if I asked you this last time, but do you believe in separating
Oh yeah.
all the disciplines? I may have, but I'd like to get your take again because I talked to Brennan about it last week as well.
Yeah.
Where, he's a big believer as well. So is Johnny Parsons, who's a welterweight in the UFC, that Ilya Taporia. He likes to train one discipline at a time and not just the whole MMA. Is that how you like to do things? Would you prefer it that way, or what's your thoughts on that?
I train wrestling a couple days a week at a club, 512 Outlaw, and then I train jiu-jitsu obviously every day. And then a lot of times in jiu-jitsu sessions with Damien, I'll mix in like we'll put gloves on and we'll do like MMA specific drills or like rounds. But with our striking, it's like we do a lot of striking focus, but it's also mixed into MMA. So it's like we're playing the whole game of MMA. I definitely don't believe like just do MMA and you'll get really good at MMA. I definitely think it's like you look at like these specialists like Piera, Taporia. It's like these guys are really good for a reason. Khabib, Islam. It's like these guys are really good at those skills for reasons because they win a little bit more. They put a little bit more skill points into those things. It's like Taporia doesn't get good at boxing by just doing MMA. You know what I mean? It's like he took it a step further. It's like obviously Pierre and Izzy, they came over from kickboxing, but it's like they still went deep into those things before coming over, and they still end up having real great takedown defense. It's like Pierre's fight against Magomed, even the one he lost, he defended, I think, 10 out of 10 takedowns or 12 out of 12 takedowns. It's like, it's a Brazilian guy coming over to fight, a Russian Dagestani guy
Yeah.
who didn't have a huge jiu-jitsu background compared to, a pretty good wrestler. It's like, all right, and he was able to stop all his takedowns. So it's still really impressive that he didn't really focus on the wrestling, but was still able to come back and defend those, And it's like, even though Khabib wasn't seen as really an elite striker, obviously, but he was still able to use his striking to get to his takedowns, and he still was able to drop Connor, which is crazy to see.
Which is crazy, yeah. Yeah, that is crazy, huh? Damn, dude. So when it comes to jiu-jitsu, I mean, there's a lot of my audience, they're here for that, for the jiu-jitsu, and I saw you rolling, and then you scramble a lot,
Yeah.
right? Let's kind of relate that to MMA. Is it true that for you, I mean, this is probably, like an obvious question to answer. Yeah, you always want to be in the offensive position, but then as far as scrambles, I saw you scrambling, I think with Damien,
Yeah.
on like one of those security camera videos,
Yeah.
and you guys just kept like Gramby rolling and all this, and all this stuff. How important is that in like an MMA setting, right? I mean, I think Peter Yan and Marab did it, right, a few times where, Peter Yan was like took him down, then Marab got out, and all that. Yeah.
I think scrambling is super important because it's like if you're fighting a guy, like if I was gonna fight a guy like Khabib, it's like I don't want to be on my back, you know what I mean? So it's like I need to be able to Gramby or switch or do anything I can to stand up. So it's like constantly forcing these scrambles where I might have the advantage or kind of have these scrambles kind of speed up rather than being like, all right, Khabib took me down. Now I have to fight his hands and move his head and then try to clear and turn and get up. It's like that's gonna be a lot harder than as soon as you go to take me down, I'm already trying to create a scramble, create kind of movement. I think for MMA it's a little bit more helpful than, at least for my style, than kind of relying on like, all right, they take me down. All right, now let me push here. Let me try to stand up here where they have time to kind of hold me or kind of solidify a takedown. Also, it's a little bit more exciting. Sometimes it's more demoralizing for that person. It's like, imagine you do some crazy setup, you try to take them down, and then they just stand up immediately. It's like, oh, now I have to deal with someone striking.
They're like slippery and shit, and then they're just getting out. You think you have their back, and then they roll.
Exactly. It's like it's honestly, I feel like from training at Simpleman, it kind of happened. Like me and my friend James, like we scrap all the time. It's like we're always having these crazy scrambles where we're Grambying and switching and doing all this stuff like that. So it's like I think over time you just kind of get comfortable with it, and then for me it translates over to MMA.
Yeah, exactly. So I guess again, the audience is particularly made from jiu-jitsu, and not only I know we often talk about your MMA career because that's what you're headed towards, but this guy's also a certified jiu-jitsu badass. What is your training method when it comes to like jiu-jitsu, right? Like again, when I said Brennan, he says, and we had a conversation about this, on how to approach training, where he says, well, yeah, I just work on one thing. It's like, that's kind of hard to do when you have an open spot right there, and then you could like submit them, right?
Right.
How do you go about, training? And do you just focus on one thing? Like, because I've been getting that a lot now. It's like more common and common. It's like, I'll just work on one thing for like a month and then, go from there. So do you just, and you could be honest, all right? You don't have to like,
Yeah. For me, it's like we're constantly like we're training hard a lot where we're doing these things on live. Sometimes for me, it's like I'm not really even necessarily, I'd say, focusing on something necessarily. Like it's more focusing on a position. Like, all right, I need to focus on my single leg takedowns, not necessarily like a one particular finish. Or I need to focus on my strangles, not just a rear naked or a guillotine. It's like, all right, I can do both of them. I'm just focusing on strangling people. Or leg locks. It's like, all right, I'm focused on finishing people with an Achilles grip. It could be any variation. It's like I very rarely go into just one move of like, all right, I'm just hitting this particular double leg setup. Because like, you just try to work on hitting a setup over and over again in live. I feel like it's very hard. It's like if I'm gonna go train with Damien and I'm trying to hit a setup on him over and over again, it's like it's not gonna work. Obviously, I do believe in like if you're working on a new skill, start working with like a lower level guy first, and then work your way up. But still, it's like, all right, you might hit that move once, and if a guy's decent enough, it's like he'll be ready to kind of defend that setup again. So I think it's more about chaining things together. It's like, all right, I'm working on single legs into this. Just single legs in general. All right, I go for a single leg, doesn't work. All right, now I tie it into the next takedown, or I work on this one, and then maybe I use it to go into a leg entry. It's like just kind of constantly tying things together rather than just being like, I'm just focused on this one particular thing.
Yeah. So what I'm hearing you say is that at least you're attempting it.
Yeah.
And then you'll go into something else.
Exactly.
That's actually a good way to like put it.
Yeah.
At least you're still trying it out, other than just saying, oh, that didn't work, and then I'll just go back to the same single like that.
I think that eliminates also too, like if you, let's say I'm just looking for a Kimura, if I'm always looking for Kimura,
Yeah.
how many times are you really gonna get it? It's like I use the Kimura to set up this move or set up this back to or set up this armbar, rather than just I need to finish the Kimura every single time. You know?
Yeah, for sure, man. So where are you going from here, man? I mean, are you just now, when's your next match? When are you like, are you just waiting for your next professional call? Are you trying to get into, I don't know, another promotion? I'm not sure how it works in that aspect.
Yeah.
You're staying with Fury till, something big happens like the UFC calls you.
Yeah. I mean, I have at least
Yeah.
two more
What's the
fights
plan?
on my Fury contract, so
Okay,
I'll be with
okay.
them for a little while. But I want to compete on UFC BJJ. I think it'd be really cool.
Oh,
That's kind of my plan.
dude, that'd be sick.
I
Yeah.
think with the rounds as well, it's three 5-minute rounds. So I think it'd be super cool. And me and my friend are trying to get on there, so it'd be super cool for us to eventually get the fight on there.
James?
Yeah, James.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
How do you even get on those cards? Like, is it just people they recommend you? Is
Yeah,
it-
I mean, obviously you can make a name for competing on other things or from Instagram, but obviously with being on such a big team like Simple Man, it's like
Yes.
we have a lot of connections. And coming out here with the Tackett brothers, it's like obviously William Andrew fighting for the title on Thursday. So I know them really well. I've known them the last like 7 years, so
Mhm.
it's just kind of connections to there.
All right, man. I mean, let's talk about a little bit of UFC BJJ. What's the difference between, since co-main and main with Andrew and William, what's the difference between those two brothers, right? Like their style. Like I know that, Andrew has told me that he's more of the wild kind of cowboy
Yeah.
that just goes and goes. And let's start off with that, with Andrew. You've rolled with him plenty of times.
Yeah.
What makes him good?
think-
That's it.
I think,
What makes him good, bro?
I honestly think Andrew's kind of like he's a different version of him, because it's like obviously MMA is it's mixed martial arts compared to jiu-jitsu, so it's like Andrew might be a little bit Andrew's really dialed into jiu-jitsu, but it's like he's kind of like a version of Marab with like killer submissions. It's like this constant pace and kind of breaks you, where
Mm-hmm.
the first attempt might not work, the second one might not work, but the third one might get you. Then eventually you're just gonna gas out, and he's never gonna quit. Andrew's just he's never gonna give up, and he's always trying to kind of break you as however he can, and he's never gonna really back down from anything. Where is Williams like a little bit slower pace, where he'll kind of just break you over time, and if you make one mistake, he'll kind of take you out. So it's kind of like a Pierre or Ilya kind of like, if you mess up, he'll kind of make you pay for it. So
Yeah.
compared to Andrew, it's like Andrew's kind of constantly breaking you down, but like Marab, but he's also able to submit you if you mess up. It's like Andrew's one of the best guys in the world on the back.
Yeah.
He had a heel hook recently, but it was like his first heel hook ever, because usually he's just breaking people constantly to submit them from the back. Where it's like Williams super well rounded from everywhere. It's like there's not a submission I don't feel like Williams bad at. It's like literally he's good at every submission. That I felt. Whereas Andrew's like he's so good on the back, and he's just trying to force you there. It's just like he's gonna take your back and choke you.
So you described him as, say, Andrew, tries to break you like kind of Marab. I like your comparisons, by the way. I love your comparisons. Easy to understand. Andrew tries to break you, and he has, he's one of the best at taking your back and choking you out from there.
Yeah.
And then William Tackett just seems more tactical.
Yeah.
Right. Like, I mean, I guess that's what
Right.
I'm getting out of you. How would you describe your jiu-jitsu game? Would you say you're more fast paced, break their will kind of thing, or a grind them out kind of guy?
I would say it's a little bit in between Andrew and William. I say it's more leaning towards Andrew, but still like a mix of William in there as well. I would say it's I rely a little bit more on scrambles to kind of winning those and kind of pushing the pace, but like I do have some sneaky submissions I can catch people with that like a lot of times they're not expecting it. So
Yeah.
like a mix.
Right. With jiu-jitsu, like, since you're going into like a heavy focused MMA kind of thing now, and I know you train, pretty much all martial arts.
Right.
So your love for jiu-jitsu hasn't gone down at all.
No,
Like
definitely
you're still on top of
not.
it.
No, I love training jiu-jitsu. It's like
Yeah.
probably the thing I look forward to training the most, just because it's like you're obviously not getting hit. Obviously, it can be hard on your body, but it's like going to train with the guys at Simple Man. It's like we're always scrambling and having fun, so it's like
Mhm.
never really a boring day.
Yeah. What is your training regimen looking like now? Because I'm asking you some of the same questions because I'd like to know, like, it's actually fun for me to see the journey from your
Change,
first
yeah.
fight. Yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's
yeah, for
like
sure.
different methodologies, even different attitudes.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
difference in your personality. I asked you this a little bit when we first started the podcast, but what's the biggest change overall in your psychology? I think is more what I'm more interested in. because a lot of your friends, particularly that I have in your podcast,
Yeah,
is that it's like 95% mindset and then
for sure.
5% like strategy. How would you say that you've changed ever since we, talked on the first one where you just won your fight, I believe.
Yeah, months
Yeah.
after.
Yeah, exactly.
I think for me, it's just it's all about confidence.
Yeah.
It's like what I was talking about earlier, like uh, basically the fight day thing. Like if you're not, you can be the best fighter in the gym, but you go to fight and you're stressing out. You're not the same fighter. It's like you're not gonna be the same fighter in the cage. It's not magically gonna happen. You're not gonna perform to those abilities. But if you're confident in yourself, it's like you can take yourself super far.
Mhm.
And some people like talk about Marab. It's like maybe he's not a specialist on the feet. He's maybe not a specialist on the ground. He's maybe not a specialist even in wrestling compared to maybe some other people. But it's like the guy is very confident in himself and he knows how to make people fight his fight. So that's why
Mhm.
the guy's one of the best in the world. It's like, yeah, he lost last weekend, but it doesn't really, he lost to one of the other best guys in the world. So it's like doesn't really bring him any further down.
That doesn't diminish
Yeah,
his thing.
it
Like
doesn't.
everyone's talking about him.
Yeah,
It's like what the
he
fuck?
doesn't his stock doesn't drop from that. It's like
Mhm.
he's still himself, but it's like I know it. Whoever Marab fights next, he fights Peter again next. He's gonna be confident. He's gonna try to do the same thing and try to break him, and he's gonna try to play into his style. He's not
Yeah.
changing his style. Um, but it just comes back to confidence, bro. It's like if you've seen like these guys, like you look at these high level athletes, it's like they're all just very confident in themselves. And
Mhm.
obviously people get nervous. That's one thing, but being nervous and confidence, they don't really. I think they're very different. It's like just because you're confident doesn't mean you won't be nervous, but you need to be confident. You need to go in
Yeah.
there and believe you can beat somebody. You believe however the fight goes, you can beat them.
Yeah. Do you think the confidence that you're gaining off it is because of like the work that you put in and the matches that you won? Is that, where you're gaining confidence from? Or are you just kind of like, you know what, fuck it, I'm all in on this. I
Yeah.
have to be confident. How much of a delusional confidence do you have compared to like a proof confidence that, hey, look, I'm 2-0 on my striking. I train every day, the quality of training of people that I train with.
Yeah.
How much of that, plays into it?
I think the quality training experience I've had, and I've been competing for a long time. I feel very comfortable competing. Like my last fight, I just felt very confident. There wasn't a ton of nerves, and I just felt like it was just another day for me. I was just ready to go, and like it just was all going my kind of plan that I wanted to, and just nothing was really going wrong. So I felt really confident about that. Training felt really good. It's like if I'm constantly training people who I feel like are helping me get better or give me tough rounds, then I feel confident. Because then it means if these guys are doing really good and I'm doing really well with them, then I feel confident about the guys I'm fighting right now. I'm
Yeah.
coming to St. and sparring these guys that are super good, getting to do rounds with Rob, and I'm giving them these tough rounds, which makes me feel good. And other people tell me the rounds are really good, so it's like obviously you can have your own opinions about yourself, but then other people tell you things from kind of a non-biased view, and then it's very helpful as well.
Yeah, yeah, like the feedback that you get.
But yeah, it's like
Just
random
kinda
people tell you, "Oh, that was a really good round." It's like they have no reason to really lie to me.
That's
It's
true.
unbiased opinion.
Yeah, yeah, they're not like yes men.
Exactly, because
Yeah.
that's so much worse. Like I rather have people tell me I did bad or could do better than people lie to me and say I did good, because it's like then you have false confidence, which is worse than no confidence
Yeah.
almost.
Out of the whole Simple Man crew and just the people that you train with, who's the most honest with you that give you a kick in the ass?
Probably Damien or Nicky
Like a
Rod.
blunt kind of like,
Yeah.
look, kid.
Damien or Nicky Rod for
Yeah.
sure. I think,
What kind of stuff like do you guys articulate through each other?
it doesn't happen all the time, but like
Yeah.
I've seen them with other people, but it's like they're just very honest people, and it's nothing like they don't. They're super nice people. They're not
Sure,
gonna they're
absolutely.
not gonna like hate on you. It's just they're telling you the truth because they want to see you do better. It's just like, hey, you need to work on these skills. Like you're not good at finishing people from the back, or you need to work on your leg lock defense. Like that's how it's the only place you're getting sub right now. It's like they're just honest about things like that. But it's never like you suck. Like you need to you're terrible. Whatever. It's like
It's like, get out
just,
of here.
yeah, it's just honest things about the skills that are going on. It's nothing that really
Yeah.
reflects.
Yeah, it's not like malicious. I know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just they want to see you do better, so they're telling you, hey, dude, like we have to work on you finishing people from the back. So when you take people's back, like your back takes are super good, but you have to be able to finish people if you're taking their back.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Do you and Damien, I know he's a big training part of yours. Do you guys ever like, does it just get out of touch and you guys just go ham on each other?
Usually more in grappling, just because
Okay.
in striking, like a lot. If you guys ever watch a spar, it's like a lot. It's not an exciting round most of the time because it's like it's constant chess match. None of us really want to get hit when we're going at each other, so it's like not as exciting. But in grappling, we always have great scrambles in grappling because it's like Damien's obviously super good, and our styles I feel like go really well together because it's like he's very good everywhere, and I feel like I can scramble really well. So it's always exciting.
All right. So you and James over here are here to watch, UFC BJJ.
Yeah.
Take me through, man. Who are the winners? How do they win? You don't have to go through the whole list.
Yeah.
But then, there's only so many people.
For sure.
Yeah.
One of my good friends, Lennon Elmore, he's fighting on the card. So, I think he's going to win. He's super good. He just won EBI. I think he'll win by either an Achilles lock or ankle lock.
Okay. Let me hold this guy accountable.
Yeah, Achilles lock or any sort of ankle lock.
Okay. Yeah.
See, I think Dorian Olivares is fighting Sam Nagai. I think Dorian will either win by decision or strangle.
Okay.
The Tucker brothers are fighting. I think Andrew will win by RNC in the second round.
RNC, yep. And then William?
I think William will win by head and arm in the second round.
Head and arm?
Yeah, second round.
Yeah, look at you, Hanato, in that matchup.
I think Hanato should win too.
Yeah.
Who's Hanato fighting again? I actually forgot who Hanato.
Yeah.
You remember who Hanato's fighting? No? That's weird. I usually always remember. All right, and I think Andy will win by RNC.
Yeah.
Andy Varela.
By RNC, all right. Well, there you have it, man.
I know it's not all the matches. I know some other ones, but they're not as big names. But I think that will happen.
Yeah. We gotta hear
I feel pretty confident.
Yeah, we gotta hear first from what hold on. Before we wrap it up, what's your favorite go-to submission, man? What do you like to go to? Everyone has their
For me, honestly, I don't feel like I don't even have a go-to. It just
You just kinda hit.
Yeah. For me it's just if it's there,
Yeah, for sure. All right, man. Any last word? Any last advice, man? Anything you'd like to shout out?
I shout out to my family for letting me come out here. Me and my friend James came out here just to come train and watch some jiu-jitsu. So I'm very grateful for that.
Yeah, I heard about your friend James too.
Yeah.
When I look at your Instagram, I heard you're animal as well, my friend.
Yeah, he just got top 16 at trials, and he won youth trials, and then first time doing trials and made top 16, and he only lost to the winner. He lost to Dorian, but he still did really well, a lot better than everyone else. So.
I think I saw Nicky Raw talking about him in your thing when I was doing some more research on you. So
He's a killer.
We'll be on the podcast as well if you're down, my friend. All right, very good. Well, dude, hey man, fucking Jackson, I love you, man. I love to see you grow. It's so crazy. I really did want to talk to you, and this might be every match thing. And by the time you get to your fourth one, I'll probably have 500,000 subscribers.
Let's go.
So.
Yeah.
But I love seeing the progress.
For sure.
I like just feeling out your journey and the vision that you have and how much you've changed as a guy. Because I think especially doing this as a young kid.
Yeah.
It's kind of it's different, right? If you start at 25 and not take anything away from it. It's a crazy thing to go through. But then what you do is if you think about it, outside looking in, if you take yourself out of your body, it's kind of crazy, right?
For sure.
For the things that you're doing. That's why I'm so fascinated in talking to you. But thank you for coming on, bro.
Thanks for having me on, bro.
Let's
Thank you,
go.
bro.
Hell yeah.